So you thought you were going to get sympathy today, Mr. Cam O'Flage over there. Happy Veterans Day, everybody, as we are shooting this at least on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But JB, you thought you were going to get some kind of sympathy from me because, oh, it's so cold in Orlando. It's so cold. Yeah, we had snow here in upstate New York yesterday for the first time this season. It's about 2 inches of snow, I believe. So I'm not really feeling very sympathetic to your cause right now in Winter Park, which is feeling like winter period right now. What's going on down there?
It's about 45 degrees, but sun is out, so that's not so bad. No snow. I just view this as just like training, getting me ready for January in Ohio.
Yeah. Does that mean you're coming? You're definitely coming to Ohio for the Stag Bowl?
I mean, I'm hoping to. The flight situation isn't as easy as I would hope. I may have to drive for a couple hours depending on where I decide to land, but we're working my way up there one way or another.
Pittsburgh's the key, I think, for that trip. That's what I've noticed over the years. Going to Alliance if I fly in for any reason. So, or we could just hoof it from the Albany area if you want to come up here, and we could just do a 7-hour ride together in both directions. And you'd kill me by the end of that, but I mean, it'd be great. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, think about the fact that Zach Vargas and Riley Conley, who joined us at Houston, did basically a drive almost that long to get the Stag Bowl last year and cover it. So they're still talking. They're still friends. So why can't we do it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And congrats to Zach. You did a great job with those post-game interviews after the Harden-Simmons UMHB game. I know that some of the Crusaders fans were, throwing a few barbs his way, whether he deserved those or not. But it comes with the territory, It's just D3 fans are a passionate bunch, and some of it good, some of it not so good.
Our friend Kyle King even piped in. When Kyle King pipes in, you know it's got to be an interesting crew scenario going on. So always love to hear from Kyle. But folks, we have a lot of things to cover here, a lot of games to cover, a lot of scenarios to cover. We're not going to cover all the scenarios. In fact, if you've got a scenario you want to know about specifically, send it to us. We'll get it ready for our Friday show. We'll have a little special section for the scenarios. We'll print them out and get them up there and everything else. But, nonetheless, folks, this is our crunch time for Week 10 of the 2025 season, Season 18 of In the Huddle. JB, some games that surprised at least one of us, maybe, because we'll see how I did on those predictions later on in the show. But there were some games that surprised both of us, honestly, throughout the day. But some that were, showing the consistency still and what we may be looking at here. Looking at some of the teams we're ushering in here. A lot of Eastern teams seem to be feeding into the system on NPI. Could make for some really interesting bracketing come Sunday. But first, we've got to get the rest of the teams in. We've got 19 in, 8 to go with automatic bids, and then 13 more for Pool C bids. Take us back to Week 10, though, what you saw, and give us that 30,000-foot view.
Yeah, well, a lot of teams, did what we thought they would do. And, our two guests from last Friday, Michael Hayes from LaGrange, the Panthers punched their ticket. They won the USA South with a very convincing win over Bellhaven. Same thing with Christian Lewis and his brother Christopher over at Barry. They took care of business against Maryville and won the SAA. But then we saw a lot of teams that were kind of on the rise have their season crash and burn. I'm thinking of like Anna Maria, Baldwin Wallace. There were a few others that took some pretty rough losses that may have eliminated them from postseason in general. We'll have to go through maybe some of the bowl bid situations next week, but there were a lot of games. At least maybe I was getting cocky because I was like 16-2 and 18-3 the last couple of weeks, and so I'm like throwing out picks, and like worst performance in week 10 for me, barely over 500. So maybe I need to get more focused here. I was doing fine without any predictive models. I was hitting about 80% of my games, but I got a little cute in week 10 and I paid for it. So now we got an interesting contest now, only 4 games between us. So we'll see what happens.
We should ask Logan to give us his predictive model results from the same games we picked and see if his predictive model beat us or not. I'd be curious at this point because we're going about, 70% give or take between us. We'll see it later in the
72 or 3 has been our kind of average the last couple of years.
Again, we're not picking gimme games usually. Maybe a couple of them end up on our feature list each Friday, but that's, it's not that easy. Okay, folks, time for crunch time. Let's go through the Week 10 highlights that matter most to a lot of people out there. This is for week number 10 of the 2025 Division III college football season. We will start in Region 1 for the game I attended, Coast Guard at Springfield. First quarter, 5.5 minutes into the game, Harrison Hensley gets this 1-yard touchdown run, and Coast Guard takes a 7-0 lead on the road at Springfield. Then the first play of the second quarter, Stanford Davis. He had 28 carries in this game, over 130 yards, and here's 2 of them for the touchdown in a 7-7 game. Then in the third quarter with 9 minutes left, Cam Pedro gets this 18-yard touchdown run to extend the Springfield lead to 17-7. We'll go about 50 seconds later. You'll see here Coast Guard punting, and Lucas Hubert's punt is muffed by James Green, recovered by Coast Guard, and they are only able to get this field goal with 6:07 left in the third quarter. Caleb McClure, the 33-yard field goal, makes it 17-10, but later on, you're going to see 12 minutes left, fourth quarter, 4th and 5, TJ Welch to James Green for the 19-yard touchdown pass, and 24-10 at that point. Springfield wins this game 30-10 and wins the new Max AQ. Harrison Hensley for Coast Guard, 15 carries, 47 yards, 1 rushing touchdown, but Stanford Davis, 28 carries, 139 yards, 1 rushing touchdown for Springfield. UNE visited Curry on Saturday. Then we'll go to 3:51 left in the first quarter. Monty Quinn, ever hear of him? I think we all have this season with a 9-yard touchdown run. 13-6 Curry leads. But this thing went upside down this game at certain points. As 13:49 left second quarter, Damian Jones gets this 78-yard touchdown run for UNE. 16-13 at that point is Curry's lead. It would be 23-16 UNE at halftime. To the third quarter, they continue to score. Damian Jones, a 27-yard touchdown run, gives UNE a 30-16 lead. With 13:44 left in the third quarter, they might be thinking they've got this one, but no. 8:14 left third. Anthony Santino, a 2-yard touchdown run, 30-23. We'll go to the fourth quarter, first play in it. Wesley Williams, a 21-yard touchdown pass from Santino. 30 apiece. So Curry now surging in this game. 9:36 left fourth quarter. Here he is again, folks. Monty Quinn. A 28-yard touchdown run. 37-30 at that point. Final score, Curry would go surging away. 47-30. Teams combined for 1,028 total yards. Damian Jones for UNE, 24 rushes, 267 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns. Monty Quinn for Curry, 34 rushes, 282 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, and goes over the 2,000-yard mark for the 2025 season. Continuing in Region 1, in the MAC, Del Val visited Misericordia. Halfway through the first quarter, Justin Brown gets a 1-yard touchdown run for Del Val to extend their lead from 3-0 to 10-0 at that point. 6.5 minutes later, Kahir Thompson gets a 68-yard touchdown pass from Mike Galasso. That makes it 17-0 Del Val, taking a big lead here against a team that was an upstart this season. Second quarter, 9:43 remaining. Misericordia does respond. Billy McCleary, an 8-yard touchdown pass from Jacob Hunter, makes it 17-7 at that point. Misericordia trying to come back, but Del Val responds with 4 minutes left second quarter. Alvaro Laura gets an 11-yard touchdown pass from Galasso, 24-7 at that point. This thing wasn't really that close in the end. Del Val wins 51-20. Del Val effectively clinched the MAC championship for Eastern in this game by winning. Jacob Hunter, 248 total yards, 3 passing touchdowns and an interception. Galasso for Del Val, 25 for 32, 362 yards, 3 passing and 1 rushing touchdown on the day. In Region 1, we will continue here. MASCAC-wise, Anna Maria, who was in control of their own destiny coming into this week at Bridgewater State. We were tied at 21 at halftime. Third quarter, 13-40. Bridgewater State's Mahail Mitchell gets a 74-yard touchdown pass from Joseph Doobie Garrett to make it 28-21. Bridgewater State leading this game. 9:51 left third quarter. They score again. Andrew Kloutman, a 12-yard touchdown run, makes it 35-21. But Anna Maria comes back. First, the final play of the third quarter, Anthony Filippo gets a 25-yard touchdown pass from Nico Boyce to make it 35-28 at that point, so they have the lead. And then with just 14 seconds left in the fourth quarter, Ranyam Kernizan, I hope I didn't butcher that name for you, and that's Nico Boyce throwing a 22-yard touchdown pass to him to make it 35 apiece, and that would take us to overtime. Anna Maria started overtime. They had a 4th and 3 from the Bridgewater State 6, but Nico Boyce is incomplete, and so they would turn it over without points. Bridgewater State, on the other hand, Andrew Kloutman, a 4-yard touchdown run, makes it 41-35, and that was the final score. Nico Boyce, 24 for 45, 279 yards, 2 passing, 1 rushing touchdown, and an interception. Andrew Kloutman for Bridgewater, 27 rushes, 237 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns, and Anna Maria's loss puts Plymouth State back in control of their own destiny, and they'll have UMass Dartmouth in Week 11. Then I'm going to tell you a little bit about the NESCAC, and then JB will tell you some more. Trinity at Wesleyan for the, essentially, championship of the NESCAC. We'll go 2:08 left in the second quarter. Wesleyan's Angelo LaRose gets a 78-yard touchdown run to make it 17-7, Wesleyan leading this game. Third quarter, though, 11:49 left. Trinity's Jameson Hodland gets a 59-yard pass from Jackson Carroll for the touchdown and a 17-14 score. Trinity just down by 3, but Wesleyan responds. Third quarter, a minute 20 later, it's Matt Fitzsimmons finding Sam Wine for the 13-yard touchdown pass, 24-14. Trinity, 4 minutes later, so 6 minutes left in the third quarter, has Jackson Carroll find Michael Miller, a 13-yard touchdown pass, 24-21. Back and forth we go here. Wesleyan's still leading, though. Fourth quarter, 6:28 left. It's Matt Fitzsimmons with a 1-yard touchdown run. A 13-play drive that took 7 minutes off the clock. It's 31-21. Trinity does score just after the 2-minute mark. Garrison Hooper, a 14-yard touchdown pass from Carroll. 31-28. Trinity would get the ball back with 10 seconds left, but you'll see here that Jackson Carroll is intercepted by Mike Salamando at the Wesleyan 3-yard line, and that would do it as Wesleyan takes care of business here and shares the NESCAC title with Trinity, 31-28. They are your back-to-back NESCAC champions. As a result, Jackson Carroll for Trinity, 19 for 39, 255 yards, 4 passing touchdowns, but an interception. You saw that. Angelo LaRose, 26 rushes, 218 yards, 1 rushing touchdown. JB, there's one part of the NESCAC story, but the biggest little game in America is the other part of it. Tell us a little bit about Williams at Amherst.
Yeah, this was a crazy game, and it was one in which the Lord Jeffs didn't score a single touchdown. They got by with field goals, and it was this great play by Ty Kazanowski, who stepped in front of a 2-point conversion pass and ran it back 97 yards for a 2-point play. Even though, Williams quarterback Mustafa Mazawala had a couple of touchdowns, it wasn't enough to overcome the 4x4 Hudson Fulcher Melendi kicking performance. Interestingly enough, Hudson's mom, I think, is like either the AD or senior administrator at Williams. I know Pat Coleman from D3Football.com was at the game and did some interviews you can check out on YouTube. and all that kind of thing. But yeah, the biggest little game in America goes to Amherst by kicking and picking off 2-point plays. Speaking of the NESCAC and close games, you go to the bottom row here. Look at Middlebury and Tufts, 33-30, another overtime game for what was kind of like third, fourth place here. The Panthers steal one at home, and so that was a lucky break for them. MIT won a close call between them and SUNY Maritime. Otherwise, we see some pretty lopsided scores with Framingham, Salve, Husson, Merchant Marine, who has a big game coming up against the Coast Guard this weekend in Fenway Park. Another close NESCAC game here, Frank. Hamilton, Nips, Bates. Plymouth State, 27-0 over Fitchburg. They're 7-1 in the MASCAC. They control their destiny there, but they have to beat this Mass Dartmouth team, as you said, who won 33-13 over Westfield. Western Connecticut with a 70-burger. Whew. A lot of other interesting games here, but we'll just say, wrap it up with Colby and Bowdoin, 16-6. I think Colby is 6-3 season. That's a pretty great job for the Mules, so congratulations to them.
JB's lined up 5 Region 2 games for me to give you some video coverage on, so let me get rolling here. Salisbury, Christopher Newport for the NJAC titles, going to lead us off here. 5:12 left, second quarter. Dario Belazier, a 42-yard touchdown pass from Cyrus McGowan, made it 30-28. Salisbury leading this game at that point. 13:18 left, third quarter though. Colin Hart finds a 36-yard touchdown pass from Connor Berry. Christopher Newport takes the lead back at this point, 35-30. A field goal later would make it 38-30. Last play of the third quarter, though, Salisbury responds. Darrell Walter, a 9-yard touchdown run, but the 2-point conversion rush by Matthew Sims failed, so it's 38-36 still, Christopher Newport leading. Gunnar White finds the end zone and around the 6-minute mark in the fourth quarter. A 28-yard touchdown run, 45-36. That is Christopher Newport's lead. With 19 seconds left in the fourth quarter, Daniel Clark gets a 16-yard touchdown pass from McGowan. 2-point conversion pass was no good. It was intercepted. So we stay at 45-42 CNU. You'll see Tucker Smack trying the onside kick here. It's recovered by Christopher Newport, and that would do it. CNU stays perfect. For the first time, they are at 9-0 ever. 45-42. Cyrus McGowan, 290 total yards, 3 passing touchdowns. Connor Berry, 319 total yards, 2 rushing, 2 passing touchdowns, and an interception. Let's go to the Centennial as Franklin and Marshall took on Carnegie Mellon. 4 minutes into the third quarter or thereabouts, Gary Lewis, a 28-yard touchdown pass from Ty Tremba, gives Franklin and Marshall a 20-7 lead. But Carnegie Mellon, no stranger to comebacks in either direction this season. In the third quarter, 9 minutes left. Brendan McCullough, a 24-yard touchdown pass from Joey McGinnis IV, makes it 20-14. The field goal for FNM later, though, made it 23-14, their lead by 9 points. 1:06 left third quarter. Nick McCullough, a 30-yard touchdown pass from McGinnis, made it 23-21 at that point. So coming back, and then Justin Caputo, a 45-yard field goal at 4:36 left, gives Carnegie Mellon the lead, 24-23. Well, Franklin and Marshall, resilient all season, and why not again? 1:55 left fourth quarter. Anthony Valdez, a 23-yard touchdown run. They add the 2-point conversion, 31-24 FNM. And here's the last chance, a 3rd and 13 at the Franklin Marshall 31, and Joey McGinnis is intercepted by Connor Hill, and that would do it. The final score was Carnegie Mellon losing to Franklin Marshall 31-24. McGinnis from Carnegie Mellon, 296 total yards, 2 passing, 1 rushing touchdowns, but 2 interceptions. Ty Tremba, 26 for 42, 244 yards, 1 passing, 1 rushing touchdown, and an interception. Sets up winner take all next week as Hopkins visits Franklin and Marshall. Continuing in Region 2, Rockport at Cortland. Cortland could take the Empire 8 with a win here. Second quarter, 8:46 left. Ethan Gallo, a 12-yard touchdown pass from Mike Resigno, makes it 13-7, Cortland leading Rockport. We'll advance to 5:33 left in the second quarter. Joe Idivio, a 19-yard touchdown pass from Resigno. Madon, 20-7 at that point, Cortland leading. Rockport does respond. 2:58 left second quarter. Isaiah Simmons, a 44-yard touchdown run by him, made it 20-14, but Cortland would get a field goal to make it 23-14 at halftime. We'll go to third quarter, about 4:25 left. You'll see Cortland's defense clamp down in the second half here as basically Benegasella is intercepted by Memphis Ferguson. And later on, we're going to take you over to the fourth quarter. About 7 minutes into it, Ravidas Jr., the 76-yard touchdown from a punt return here. Felice Ravidas, and that will pretty much do it. 44-14, Cortland wins the Empire 8 title. Isaiah Simmons, 20 carries, 125 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. Resigno for Cortland, 180 total yards, 3 passing, 2 rushing touchdowns. Then we'll go to the Pac, where W&J could win their AQ with a win against Geneva. 3:14 left first quarter. W&J's Kobe DeRosa gets a 10-yard touchdown run. 7-0 is the lead at that point for them. Then defense takes charge for W&J as around 10 minutes left second quarter. Caleb Romano is intercepted by Sam Coleman. Later on, that led to Jacob McCosco getting a 34-yard touchdown pass from Kellen Stahl. 14-0, this offense is humming suddenly for W&J. Not suddenly, for a little while now. 4:40 left second quarter, it's John Peduzzi. 33-yard touchdown pass from Kellen Stahl, 21-0. W&J would roll in this game 49-7. W&J wins that Pac championship. Luke Krumbacher for Geneva, 7 catches, 148 yards, 1 receiving touchdown. Kellen Stahl for W&J, 20 for 27, 384 yards, and 6 passing touchdowns. What a day for him. And last but not least in Region 2, Ithaca at RPI. Nobody could get a title here, but it would have major implications. 10-7, RPI led at halftime. Third quarter, 6:34 left. Caleb Wendell, a 25-yard field goal, tied the game for Ithaca 10 apiece. Third quarter, 45 seconds remaining. Caden White, a 1-yard touchdown run, 17-10, RPI leading. But Ithaca responds. 13:22 left in the fourth quarter. Nicholas Lang gets a 46-yard touchdown pass from Chris Scully, 17 apiece. And then Ithaca surges past RPI. This time, Nicholas Lang gets a 19-yard touchdown pass from Michael Reed with 6:38 left in the fourth quarter. Ithaca leads 24-17. RPI look to get the ball back. Ithaca's punting. My goodness, it's a block of the punt. RJ Encarnacion gets the 11-yard scoop and score off the punt block for the touchdown. It's 24-23, but then RPI fakes the extra point. Anthony DiMatteo is incomplete. Oh my goodness. What a turn of events all over the place, but RPI does get the ball back. Third and 31 from their own 13-yard line. DiMatteo is intercepted by Marcus Boyle, and that would do it. Ithaca wins this wacky game, 24-23. Caden White, 19 carries, 165 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns for RPI. Michael Reed from Ithaca, 263 total yards, 2 passing touchdowns. Gutsy call there by RPI and Ralph Isernia. I know what you were trying to do there, trying to catch him off guard. It didn't quite work. The pass just missed. It could have actually been a conversion, and if so, it would have made the Dutchman Shoes game winner take all. Instead, only Union can directly win from that game. Otherwise, we have to go to Cortica. More on that later. JB, tell us more about Region 2.
Yeah, well, as you can see on the top line here, Union barely gets by Rochester, and hey, give them credit, and much credit to Coach Drock for turning this program around. It's one win away from an 8-2 season and a Liberty League championship. Quite a job there. Wilkes gets knocked off by Susquehanna, who's won 5 straight and is once again the landmark champs for the 3rd year in a row. They are surging right when they needed to. Hopkins took care of business, so did Rowan. Credit Alfred State, man. They won their little crosstown rivalry trophy against the Saxons, and they're in the running for a potential ECAC bowl game. We'll see what happens there. Muhlenberg keeps winning. We saw Kane take care of William Patterson. Dickinson beats Ursinus in the Centennial. St. John Fisher, 6-3, doing well. They just put in for an ECAC bowl, so maybe we'll see them in the postseason. We also saw Utica take care of Hartwick, I should say. Moose Hogan's going to get mad at me if I screw that up. And Westminster, 76-0. The Titans are quietly back in potentially open doors bowl area, because Grove City, with a win over Case Western and with a couple of teams disappearing this weekend, all of a sudden has creeped into the Pool C race. More on that a little bit later. And then credit to Montclair State, who sneaks by TCNJ 30-27, a big win for them. They're one game away from being 500.
Yeah, lot to talk about, like we said, but first let's continue here in Region 3. Belhaven had a chance as the LaGrange for the USAC, the USA South title. 9:49 left first quarter. LaGrange's Tessaris Bozeman, a 33-yard touchdown run, made it 7-0. LaGrange leading this game. Then we'll advance 5 minutes later. Tessaris Bozeman again, a 5-yard touchdown run, 14-0. LaGrange leading. Don't expect much in the other direction here, folks, because 14:05 left third quarter. LaGrange's Kirk Scott gets a 69-yard touchdown run, 21-0. Make sure he gets to that end zone. Sure he does. There we go. And then 7 minutes later.
Broadnack's going to look to throw. He had McLaughlin open. Oh, and he's got Bryant in the back of the end zone. Touchdown! Aaron Bryant, what a throw, what a catch.
In the third quarter, Aaron Bryant, a 9-yard touchdown pass from Henry Broadnax, made it 28-0. My goodness, LaGrange rolled in this game 38-6. They win the USA South Championship. Brock Morris from Belhaven, 19 for 31, 198 yards, 1 passing touchdown, but 5 interceptions. Tessaris Bozeman, 186 total yards, 2 rushing touchdowns on the day. Finally, nobody could outright win the ASC from this game, but it could make it interesting as Hardin Simmons visited UMHB. 6 minutes into the first quarter, Cameron Ferguson, a 7-yard touchdown run, gave UMHB the 7-0 lead. But eventually, Hardin Simmons responds. 5 minutes left, second quarter. Matt Pascusi gets a 73-yard scoop and score here, eventually getting into that end zone, 7-7. There's talk about, was there targeting before this and everything else, but they kind of make it moot at this point as Hardin Simmons gets it to that 7-7 score. Hardin Simmons field goal late in the third made it 10-7 their lead, but 17 seconds into the fourth quarter, Asa Osborne gets a touchdown run for Mary Hardin Baylor to make it 14-10 on that 10-yard touchdown run. 3.5 minutes into the fourth quarter, B.J. Stewart for Mary Hardin Baylor extends that lead by getting a 47-yard touchdown pass from Kirkland Michaud, 21-10, UMHB leading Hardin Simmons. Hardin Simmons, who needed to make the point differential at least stay close, does score. Christian Marshall with 7:44 left fourth quarter is a 25-yard touchdown pass from Kyle Brown, 21-17, and Hardin Simmons would get the ball back with 2:24 left. Here with 20 seconds left, 4th and 2 from midfield. Kyle Brown incomplete, and that would do it. Mary Hardin Baylor kind of shocked some people here, but they win this game 21-17. Kyle Brown, 23 for 33, 175 yards, 1 passing touchdown and an interception. Kirkland Michaud, 14 for 21, 214 yards, 1 passing touchdown and an interception. Also in Region 3, game that we thought we had video for, but unfortunately we lost that video somehow. Barry, come on now. But Barry wins the SAA over Maryville. It's a 36-7 final score. They won the SAA championship through a great play by Josh Rogers, their running back, 14 rushes, 77 yards, 1 rushing touchdown. Bryson Rollins had a day too, though, 17 for 27, 196 yards, 1 passing touchdown, but an interception. Barry just kept rolling into the end zone early and pretty much put this one away to win. JB, HSU still needs to win a game next week, or this coming week, I should say, to get the ASC title. But, it's a lot easier when you control your own destiny than having to rely on somebody else. So we'll see what happens with that. What else you have for Region 3?
Yeah, maybe this should have made the highlight list, but Hampton-Sydney losing 45-42 to Bridgewater was kind of a big surprise on Saturday. It's not one we saw coming, but if you were a Randolph-Macon fan, you sure were happy because that meant that you just won another ODAC championship in the Pool A bid. So kind of takes a little bit of the shine off the big game this weekend between HSC and RMC, but still one of those crazy games that we saw on Saturday. Washington Lee won. We also saw Southwestern Centre take care of business, as did Greensboro. Trinity looking good and for a pretty sure Pool C bid. They beat Millsaps 42-24. Texas Lutheran 5-0 in the SCAC. Not going to get into the playoffs this year, but that would probably get them a Pool A bid when they have it next year. Howard Payne beats ETBU. We saw Huntington take care of Southern Virginia. McMurray takes care of Hendricks, and Everett gets by Guilford for their first win of the season, so congrats to them. Shenandoah looking like they're going back to the Chesapeake Bowl series. They probably won't play Moravian this year, but they'll play someone from the Landmark. It should be a good game. And then finally, Austin Cemetery. We saw the Austin take the win, 20-10.
Here's a big game coming up in Region 4 with OAC implications for Pool C. Baldwin-Wallace at Ohio Northern. 8:49 left, second quarter. Baldwin-Wallace's Charlie Hooked-On Bubonics gets an 8-yard touchdown run to make it 21-10. Baldwin-Wallace leading the game, but Ohio Northern responds in big time in this game. 22 seconds left, second quarter. Louis Blasio, a 1-yard touchdown run, or pass from Sam Feldman, I should say. 21-17, they narrow the lead. Baldwin-Wallace responds. 10:34 left, third quarter. Tim Conwell finds his 49-yard touchdown pass from Charlie Bubonics. It's 28-17, 11-point lead for Baldwin-Wallace, but watch this. Third quarter, 6:11 remaining. Sam Feldman, a 1-yard touchdown run, makes it 28-24 at that point, Ohio Northern. Then, 9 seconds into the fourth quarter, Cody Dykes, a 27-yard field goal is good. We're within one here, 28-27, Baldwin-Wallace leading. Then 8 minutes later, Cody Dykes again, a 33-yard field goal, gives Ohio Northern the lead, 30-28. We'll go to 5:05 left in the fourth quarter, and Charlie Bubonics is intercepted by Jacob Hirschberger here. Ultimately, ONU has to punt again, though, with 2.5 minutes left. Baldwin-Wallace with a chance, 1:55 left, fourth quarter. Charlie Bubonics is stripped, sack, fumble, and recovered by ONU's Colton Berner to basically finish off this game. Ohio Northern now in the Pool C discussion, at least, 30-28 with that big win. The win puts ONU into contention, as we see here. George Lindberger, 17 carries, 61 yards, 1 rushing touchdown. Sam Feldman for ONU, 196 total yards, 2 passing, 1 rushing touchdowns. JB, that's a little bit of a surprise there. A big game where we thought Baldwin-Wallace would be securing themselves into Pool C, and instead now we see the OAC may only get one team in unless Ohio Northern gets some help. More on that later. First, tell us about Calvin at Hope, our other featured game in Region 4.
Yeah, well, this has always been a great rivalry between the two schools, but this year it was all Hope. They outgained them 557 to 152 total yards. It was very lopsided. Quarterback Alex Stoll for Hope went 21 for 31, 244, and a passing touchdown. This game was over early, and Hope is in a good position to make the playoffs. Speaking of the playoffs, John Carroll won the NCAC with the 55-17 victory over Ohio Wesleyan. Speaking of the NCAC, we got Wabash and DePauw playing kind of a playoff elimination game for the Mon-Bell next weekend. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Albion takes care of business. Alma wins. They need to keep winning to stay alive and have a chance to win the MIAA. If they lose next weekend, their season is over. There are no playoffs for them. They have to win and get in. Adrian wins, and they're still lurking around as a potential upset bid there. They play Alma in week 11. That should be a really good one. Denison finishing up their season, looking pretty good at 6-3. Well, they're not finished just yet, but they won in week 10. Mount St. Joe's wins, as well as Muskingum 7-3 against Capital. It's a real low-scoring game, but it wasn't as concerning as his 30-19 win for the Purple Raiders. Now, Mount Union does win the OAC with this victory, but a lot of people are like, what's going on over there? Why aren't they beating these guys by more points? Well, maybe they're saving it for the playoffs. We'll see what happens. Look at this crazy game, Frank. 59-57 in triple overtime. Franklin, the Grizz, outlast Bluffton. Crazy game in the Heartland. And last but not least, the Student Princes of Heidelberg improved to 6-3 with a close 34-31 win over Wilmington on their senior day. And Rolls-Holman will close things out with a 38-0 win over Anderson.
Whew, take a breath, because I'm going to go right now to region number 5, and I'm going to tell you about one game, and you'll get one as well. It's St. Norbert at Aurora in the NACC. Second quarter, 12:16 remaining. Aurora's Liam Mickle, a 1-yard touchdown run, makes it 10-0 Aurora. We'll keep advancing here to the third quarter, 10:52 remaining. TJ Ramsey with a 1-yard touchdown run for Aurora Their lead now extended to 21-0. St. Norbert would try in the fourth quarter to come back. A minute 8 into it, Bailey Tureen gets a 13-yard touchdown pass from Michael Meneguzzo, 21-7 at that point. But you'll see after Aurora punted to the 1-yard line of St. Norbert, one play later, the safety, they couldn't get out of the end zone, 23-7, and Aurora would end up winning this game 37-14. Meneguzzo, 28 for 47, 219 yards, 2 passing touchdowns. TJ Ramsey for Aurora, 21 rushes, 121 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. JB, tell us about Central at Simpson, which was kind of a topsy-turvy game of sorts.
A little bit, and I'm surprised you didn't call out my dad joke last Friday when I said, can the Dutch weather the storm? Well, but they did, 35-10. And this keeps Central alive in the Pool C race with a 28-point second quarter. Kind of started close. We've put some distance there. The Central team will take on Co, who did they play? Let's see here. Of course, the last score. They beat Loris 63-7. We'll get there in a second, but otherwise, Wash U probably in prime position to get the Isthmus Bowl bid for the CCIW. They're looking like they're going to finish 8-2. Very strong season for those Bears. We saw Wisconsin Lutheran, Augustana, North Central wins big as always. We saw Wheaton take care of Milliken as well. Wheaton's in a good position to make the playoffs as a Pool C team. Lake Forest, another big blowout, man. They have a big game against Chicago in week 11, more on that this week. And then Grinnell, Carroll, Monmouth all take care of business. Monmouth wins the Midwest Conference with that victory, so congratulations to the Scots there. And then Buena Vista, Benedictine, Lakeland, Chicago, and Illinois College, all winners last Saturday.
Okay, JB, we have one region left. That's Region 6. So we'll start in the Wacky-Weack for 2 games here. First, lacrosse at River Falls. 33 seconds into the first quarter, it's Trevor Asher getting a 54-yard touchdown run for UW River Falls. 7-0 is their lead at that point. But lacrosse responds. 9:25 left first quarter. Gabe Lynch, a 2-yard touchdown run, ties it up at 7 apiece. 5:47 left first quarter. Austin Rush does not rush for the touchdown again for an 18-yard touchdown pass from Caleb Blaha. 14-7 at that point. I'll do it for you. So then with 3 seconds left in the first quarter, it's Austin Rush again. I won't do it again. 20-yard touchdown pass from Caleb Blaha. 21-7 at that point. River Falls leading the final score. 41-7. River Falls takes care of lacrosse. Number 8 absolutely bombing number 10 in that game. They win the WEAC championship. We'll tell you why in a second. Gabe Lynch, 1 rushing touchdown. Caleb Blaha, 397 total yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and an interception. So the result of the next game is what mattered here for River Falls to clinch. Stout at Platteville. 5:37 left second quarter. Trevor Burnett gets a 1-yard touchdown run for Platteville to make it a 17-3 score at that point in favor of Platteville. Then 2:58 left third quarter. We'll see Adam Moen try to turn things around here for the UW Stout team. 1-yard touchdown run, 17-10 at that point. 13:01 left fourth quarter, and it's Brady Tosterud, a 3-yard touchdown pass from Nathan Uselding to make it 24-10 in favor of Platteville. 5:36 left though fourth quarter. Here's Adam Moen, a 6-yard touchdown run to make it 24-17. So Stout trying to come back here. And then 42 seconds left. It's, again, Adam Moen scoring the touchdown, 24-23. So what do? They go for 2.
Forward. Now rolls Hughes out. Moen to throw into the end zone. It is going to be. Did he catch it? No, he did not catch it. It is incomplete. And the 2-point conversion is no good.
And it's no good. 24-23 still. We'll see, though, an onside kick by Garrison Jackman is recovered by Stout. They surge down the field. They get to the 26-yard line. So here's Garrison Jackman's 43-yard field goal attempt.
Placement made. The kick is up. And it is no good.
No good. That would do it. And by Platteville winning 24-23, that is what officially clinched River Falls as the WEAC champion. Adam Moen, 317 total yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, and an interception. Nathan Uselding for Platteville, 16 for 25, 141 yards, 1 passing touchdown, and an interception. JB, that wacky WEAC has a winner now, but will they get 3 teams? Will they get 4 teams? We'll find out. Talk more about that in a moment, too. Let's talk about Carlton at Bethel and then the rest of Region 6.
Yeah, well, this was just a offensive firepower performance for the Royals. I mean, Cooper Drews, 38 of 48, 405 yards, 6 passing touchdowns. He had a connection that day with his wide receiver, Albert Rundell, which he set new program and conference records with 21 catches for 241 yards and 5 TDs. I mean, this Royals team, they don't talk about a ton, but they could be playing in Canton. They look like they're pretty loaded. We'll see what happens. St. John's puts up 70 on St. Scholastica. We saw Gustavus win as well as Minnesota Morris. Concordia Moorhead had to squeak by McAllister, 17-14. Northwestern Minnesota, also another 17-14 winner. The Ole's of St. Olaf won by a touchdown over Hamlin. Whitewater still alive in the Pool C race. They won 51-10 over Eau Claire. We saw Oshkosh take care of Stevens Point, 41-15. Crown leads the UMAC with that win over Martin Luther. They have a chance to clinch on Saturday. Whitworth takes care of business. They basically won the Northwestern Conference with that victory. And Linfield, another winning season, but the chances of them going to the playoffs are pretty slim, but they still won 77-14. Chapman undefeated in the SCIAC. They are going to play for the SCIAC Championship late on Saturday, making us wait for it. And so we'll see how it goes. The last page we saw Pac Lutheran beat Lewis and Clark. George Fox beats Pacific. Pomona-Pitzer beats Cal Lutheran, but I believe Cal Lutheran is the team that's going to the championship game, just because of the divisional layout there. But got to think that Chapman's going to be a heavy favorite. And then finally, Claremont beats Redlands 28-14.
JB, thanks for that. And that is crunch time for week number 10 of the 2025 Division III college football season. JB, another great crunch time to look at all those videos and whatnot, but let's talk about 3 people that you want to single out. I think we talked about all 3, or at least 2 of them inside crunch time. Go ahead and recap us here.
No, I think we got them all. We'll start off with Cooper Drews of Bethel, who had an amazing game, 6 passing touchdowns, over 400 yards, was named to the D3Football.com offensive QB of the week for week 10. So looks like we had some agreement there, which is cool. I mentioned before Hudson Fulcher Melendi from Amherst kicked 12 of the Lord Jeffs / Mammoths, 14 points. So a clutch performance for him. I guess it's ironic that his family has Williams ties, so he got to be the savior for Amherst, and I guess the Williams family members might give him some coal for Christmas or something. I'm sure they're cool with it. And last but not least, Marcus Boyle and the junior defensive back from the Bombers had 2 interceptions in the RPI game. It was a big reason why the Bombers are getting a chance to stay alive in the Liberty League playoff race and everything. Really clutch performance for him and for Ithaca. I think he batted down a pass. He did intercept the final pass of the game too. So he was my defensive player of the week.
There you go. We then did see his act there with that final interception on the 3rd and 31, I think it was, at the very end of the game there.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Our poor RPI was just going back and back and back. That did not work out for them in that comeback attempt.
That sounds like your predictions from last week, which we will now solidify on an 11-10 season, or week rather, versus a 15-6 episode by Rossi. Now you're only 4 up. I have your lead. And so this will be interesting because you will not be doing the show Friday. We got a special guest host coming in, I think, and they just confirmed they're willing to do it. But we will tell you who it is on Twitter this week, so stay tuned for that, folks. Special guest host on Friday Live coming up. So there you go. Maybe we'll get Zach to make some picks with us again, too. We'll see what we're able to do. But we'll see if I can come back in the regular season. We do carry on to the postseason, though, but obviously I'm running out of games to catch you. Okay, speaking of postseason, we know the 19 teams that are already in. We covered that pretty well.
Yep.
Let's talk about what's left out there. First, we have the ASC, which is still not determined, as we said in Crunchtime. Mary Hardin-Baylor needs ETBU to beat Hardin-Simmons. Good luck. And to beat Howard Payne themselves. Hardin-Simmons just needs to win or have Howard Payne beat UMHB. So I'd much rather be Hardin-Simmons at this point in time. In the Centennial Conference, we have a head-to-head situation. Great. The winner goes. Loser could go in both cases. But obviously, Franklin Marshall would love to win the game. And some folks out there who do projection models have a win by Franklin Marshall about 15 or 18% or something like that. I don't know. At home for Franklin Marshall, I might give him a 25%er on this one, closer to 30, because it seems a little far-fetched to say they have no chance in hell. This is a team that beat Muhlenberg.
Yep.
So, C&E-wise, again, winning you're in, Curry and Endicott. Obviously Endicott a heavy favorite here, but Monty Quinn, we'll see what he's able to do. Liberty League a little bit more convoluted. Union controls their own destiny. Beat RPI, you're in Union. However, if you lose, you're not in. It's going to either be RPI if Cortland beats Ithaca, or, drumroll, Ithaca if they win Cortica in that situation. Yeah, a little late on that drum roll there, but thank you, appreciate that.
Sorry.
So, Cortica could influence the Liberty League tiebreaker and championship. Then we have the MIAA with 3 teams possible. Alma controls their own destiny, but if Alma loses to Adrian, Hope can win and get their automatic bid. I mean, if Hope wins, they're in either way. There's no doubt in our minds about that. Yeah. But and that's by the overall percentage win percentage tiebreaker. Thank you to AI for including that. I didn't even catch it. It caught on that hard on where I was trying to sell it.
No kidding.
And nice. Adrian would basically win if both Alma and Hope lose, and they win basically through that. The SCAC, you pointed out, does not have an automatic bid. They have a championship game, though, and it's Texas Lutheran versus McMurray. SCIAC does get an automatic bid, and they have a championship game. It's Cal Lutheran at Chapman coming up. And then we've got the UMAC. It's either Crown if they beat Greenville, or if Westminster of Missouri beats Northwestern. Northwestern of Minnesota can get in via Greenville beating Crown and by winning their own game. If they get in, Northwestern, they will be 5-5 and in the playoffs. We always love that one. Oof. Then there's one I'm going to tell you about, folks, that won't fit on a slide because it's so ridiculous. But basically, it goes like this, and we have not been corrected by anybody on this, so I think I have this pretty much down at this point.
That's a first.
Of course, yeah. Well, it's a first when it comes to the MASCAC tiebreaker. That's a damn sure. So here's how it goes. Plymouth State controls their own destiny. So we don't really have to worry about Plymouth State as a one-loss team not making it in, because either they go through the automatic qualifier or they go through Pool C at 2 losses. And so realistically, people that might be watching a game, and if UMass Dartmouth wins that game, you're going to become a Bridgewater State fan really fast, because you need Bridgewater State to win to help eliminate what could eliminate Plymouth State in that situation, because UMD is essentially the controlling factor of the third tiebreaker that would eliminate Plymouth State. So if Plymouth State loses, and let's say Anna Maria and Framingham State both win, which is possible, and they're all at 7-2, then it comes down to the winner of Bridgewater State in their game versus Mass Maritime. If Bridgewater State wins,
the Cranberry Bowl.
Yep. Then it's Plymouth State going to the playoffs. If Mass Maritime wins, it would be Framingham State going to the playoffs. Anna Maria cannot win in that 7-2 merry-go-round of the MASCAC. They could still win, let's say, if both Framingham State and UMass, or I keep doing it, Framingham State and Plymouth State lose, okay, and Anna Maria wins, because they would control that tiebreaker versus Plymouth State. So if you're Anna Maria, you've got to hope, you have very limited options here. You've got to hope that UMass Dartmouth wins and Framingham State loses on Saturday. If you're Framingham State or Plymouth State, you have a couple different options, but I'd rather be Plymouth State than Framingham State, because Plymouth State controls their own destiny. Framingham State does not in the situation. They could, technically, but they will not immediately on Saturday. So very convoluted MASCAC tiebreaker, if I am reading it correctly, which, listen, does the MASCAC even know how to read their own tiebreaker half the time? I don't know. Someday they're going to take me out for this. I swear to God, not in the right way. Okay. Let's talk about the projected top 40. Again, to be clear, we are not doing a model. We are not giving you percentage possibilities. All we are doing is giving you a baseline where at week 10, NPI seems to be a more stabilized scenario. So you would assume that the team with the better NPI should win its game, right? That's what we did for 110 games.
Quick?
Sure you can.
About semantics and the difference between projections and predictions and all that. Now, the way models work, from my understanding of 20 years in business, is that they do actually use historical data on performance in order to project out future possibilities. So someone who says that historical stuff and all that doesn't factor into models, that's not correct. Now, we are also not built, we have not built a model. We're just, we're projecting certain situations, like fans have asked you on the road, Frank, well, what happens if my team beats this team and who needs to lose and all that kind of thing. That's not a model, right? But models do use historical data, and they always have and they always will. So I just wanted to clear the air on that one. But yes, the only model in the Huddle thing is my wife, Jen, and that's it. We don't have any other models in this operation. So, and if
best model ever.
If you don't believe me, there's pictures to prove it somewhere, and we'll just leave it at that.
Actually, he shared a beautiful picture of her from his wedding in our Discord server. So come to our Discord server if you'd like to see his lovely wife. How's that for a promo for our Discord server? We'll re-promote it on Twitter for those that have not joined yet. And you can ask your NPI questions right there. We are happy to answer them. What we have is a tool. Okay, that is all we have called it from day one. Realistically, a projection based on the tool. In this case, the projection is the better NPI team as of week 10 will be declared the winner of these games, and then you can play around with them. Okay, you can move them over here. You can say this one wins, this one doesn't. You can have a list of 10 of them and generate a list like this. We've created two tools actually for you to do the same basic thing. Here is what we got. This was fixed. Also, the one that we posted yesterday had all the away and homes backward, but that did not go into computation that way. It simply was a situation where the graphic creation was actually wrong. It wasn't the calculation. Okay, so just to be clear on that, that's why it is now corrected to at Franklin and Marshall for Johns Hopkins, for instance, which it was the other way around our original posts. But, okay, that's that. Johns Hopkins, obviously, in big control. Mount Union would be number 2 after we got rid of the 2 canceled games that we should discuss. There's cancellations, as you know, of the Averett and the Guilford games because of the...
Talk about a ripple effect.
Well, a fracas. I saw the video that was posted on TikTok that was shared on Twitter. I know you reposted it. I don't know if it merited what happened. I didn't see anything over the top. I've seen worse. And I've been at games where it's gotten worse in some ways. So I don't know what exactly crossed the line to create a cancellation of seasons like that. And I will ask my friends at the ODAC that question. Maybe we don't have the entire video of the entire thing. Maybe they started the video too late. I don't know. But boy, what I saw was not there for that. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
Long story short, it's on Twitter. Go look at it if you want to see it. Wartburg, number 3. Christopher Newport, number 4, thanks to their historic start of 9-0. And North Central, number 5. Now, you are of the thinking here that this is a great benefit to North Central. Why?
Well, I think because the way we've seen the bracket get produced last year, and in theory how it's supposed to be produced, what this would mean, from my understanding, is that you would probably have on one side Hopkins, Newport, and Berry, and then on the other you'd have Mount Union. You'd have North Central in that Hopkins and Berry side of the fence, and then you'd likely have Mount Union with the Wartburgs and River Falls and Bethels of the world. So in effect, it would be a quote-unquote easier road to the finals for North Central as the 5th seed.
Now, there's no guarantee. Well, there's no guarantee that 1 will face 8, and 2 will face 7, and 3 will face 6, and 4 will face 5. So
that's how it's supposed to be. But yes, the NCAA doesn't always follow those rules. Yeah,
because of geography and possible flight issues. So we will see if they are able to do that. The other challenge really is going to be how they pigtail out these games, if there are that many East-based teams, and what it does to the second round, creating possible flights there without possibly shuffling up. So again, just because you're number 25 through 40 doesn't mean you'll play a first-round game. We've made this clear to you, and we're going to make it clear again. Because of geography, they may go into the lower 20s to pick a team to play in the first round. And it's not fair.
At
it's
Eastern
not right.
Right now at 24 on the cutoff line, and I'm like, those guys could probably be in a pigtail game for sure.
Well, the Kings got that treatment last year to have to face your sinus, if you remember correctly, because they had a situation like that. So Eastern could be very, very susceptible to be being put out there, or maybe a team like Alma still has to play it. Maybe a team like, I don't know, Monmouth might have to go. Maybe they need Midwestern teams to meet the numbers. Yeah. So it could work a bunch of different ways here. I would say even Hope in Monmouth shouldn't rest easy at these numbers if they are 20 and 21 at the end of the day, that they wouldn't have to play a first-round game. I'm just going to fly that one out there. I
assume you can already figure out, like, Chapman will play Whitworth, right? Because they have to keep that sort of West Coast thing going. And then, you could have, like, a Hanover-Monmouth matchup maybe. That's within driving distance. Same thing maybe with Hanover and Alma. But, when you look at the bottom 10, I guess Wheaton, there's Franklin Marshall, Grove City, Susquehanna. There's a lot of Region 1 and 2 teams in there.
You said that about Chapman and Whitworth. I just want to check something, though, as you said that. If you give me a second, I'm logging into our trusty tool. No, it's Hardin, Simmons, and Linfield were the teams they played, non-conference. So, you're right. They could be against Whitworth in week 1. That probably is the automatic.
I think so.
Yep. So, anyway, now, as you go down this, obviously, win-loss record plays a huge role no matter what. So, River Falls jumping a couple undefeated teams, it's big, but, it's not a norm inside the way that football's NPI was set up, because wins are just overvalued in this whole thing, and losses are overvalued in the other direction. Trinity and
one
number
other
10
thing that
is
jumps
surprising.
out to me, Frank, Wabash at 19.
Yep. Against DePaul.
May or may not. Yeah.
Yeah, DePaul wins, Wabash is out. It basically, this game will flip the result. So not only is it for the Moan and Bell, it's for a playoff slot, realistically. I don't see any way around that reality. Hope, Alma, and Adrian, 2 of these teams get in, unless Hope somehow slips up against Olivet, then, who knows?
No way.
How deep they go. I agree with you. Excuse me, as I cough in everybody's ear on that. I got all choked up about Hope losing to Olivet, apparently. You look at teams like LaGrange. LaGrange is a big problem for a round 1 game. I have a feeling they don't play round 1, even at 26, because that's a flight no matter what. who's the only team they could fly to, or drive to? Barry. They're not going to put Barry in a first round game.
They already played him. Yeah.
So, maybe they line them up next to Barry, or put them in the second round game somehow. It would have to be third round. I don't know how you would accomplish it without screwing Barry's protected top 8 if they do remain in the protected top 8. So there's a lot of things at play. So the things you really want to look at, though, are who's number 11, number 12, and number 13 inside the Pool C listings here. Wheaton, Franklin and Marshall, Grove City. Grove City was a team that we did not have in, but some things rippled up, as you said, and fixing a couple of home aways also had an impact on this. So,
well, let's say Alma somehow loses to Adrian. What would happen?
If Alma loses to Adrian, then Adrian and Alma probably swap spots inside the top 40 itself, but Adrian could actually win Pool A in that situation. So, if your team outside, you're hoping that both Hope and Alma lose, because that could clear 2 teams out above you in that situation that would otherwise be there. Adrian's potential as a Pool C and Alma, who's currently residing on a Pool A, would transfer the Pool A over to Adrian, and Hope would drop out entirely. So it would just change basically the entire environment for the MIAA and their influence on who's in the bubble or not in that situation. 2 teams could benefit from that listing of 3 teams having that fallout.
Another thing I guess you could say would help, I'm trying to look at this from a perspective of things I think actually could happen. Like Hope losing to Olivet, I'm like, yeah, come on, and that's not realistic. But Whitewater losing to, is that Oshkosh that they play?
Yeah, Whitewater fall out. It looks like based on what we know.
Yeah,
Oshkosh.
So that would open up some space.
Oshkosh would not get in. Even at 5-4, though, they're not that far out. That's the scary thing about Oshkosh. They're only about 7 or 8 teams out, Oshkosh, at 5-4. That's crazy. I mean, are we really talking about 5-4 teams being better than 9-1, 8-2 teams? It's bad enough we talk about Mary Hardin Baylor, who's really number 45 in this scenario, okay? Yeah. So, I mean, come on. What are we doing here if that's happening? I feel for Ohio Northern, who woke up thinking that they were possibly in on Sunday with a win. But, things changed. Things cascaded as, we went back through numbers and also had games cancel. And it created a little bit of a ripple effect. But you can see the difference between 41, 42, and 43 is 0.11 points. That is an out-of-conference opponent switching from a win to a loss, basically, for any one of them. Yeah. But they need one other team to lose above them, because Grove City is a full half a point above Ohio Northern. So Ohio Northern needs some stuff to really happen. They need Grove City or Franklin Marshall. Franklin Marshall is projected to lose under this scenario anyway, so if it's not Franklin Marshall.
Yep.
Wheaton is somehow to lose, not likely. Muhlenberg to lose. Sorry, Nate. But I mean, that is not impossible. Whitewater to lose, not impossible. Wabash and DePaul would just swap out, so you're not looking at that one.
Randolph-Macon, not saying, they're in, right? But, what if they just decide to rest everybody and, somehow Hampton-Sydney surprises them and wins that game?
They'll lose a first-round bye. Do you think Hampton-Sydney would get in? Is that what you're trying to project
No,
out?
I just think it would drop them down. It would shift things around a little bit, but it's not impossible to think that Hampton-Sydney couldn't maybe change this up a little bit.
Well,
Same thing with Endicott and Curry.
I never tried this one.
Endicott is a heavy favorite, but Monty Quinn could rush for 300 yards, and all of a sudden...
Yeah. Wow. I'm looking at this before I show it to everybody, but it looks like Randolph-Macon falls to number 39. So they would they would lose their first round bye if that were to happen. But Hampton-Sydney's still not ranked. in the 13 Pool Cs, and it's not even in the bottom 4 with that win. Do they have 2 or 3 losses, Hampton Sydney? Because that seems to me that, yeah, that's what it is. I mean, granted, they had a good schedule, so I'm actually curious if I go to the season simulator how far down they are.
Yeah, I mean, they beat W&J week 2.
Yeah, exactly. And so that originally that loss was looking crappy for them, and then it got a whole lot better. You're telling me at a 59 they wouldn't get more of a boost from that win? I mean, 59 for a 3-loss team is pretty good. Okay, it's not an Oshkosh, 4-loss version of it, but let's see. They would be... No, Hampton Sydney is 2 losses.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they would be number 47. Here we go again with NPI. Behind number 46, Randolph-Macon on the full list, the full 241. Randolph-Macon would be 46th. Hampton Sydney would be 47th. But they would still be about 2.5 points below the 13th Pool C bid, would be Hampton Sydney. So even at 2 losses, even with that schedule, apparently the ODAC did themselves no favors this year in that respect. So they are that far away from it. No. So no, it would not affect anything in this list beyond making Randolph-Macon a definitive first round playing team. It looks like. Again, though, Whitewater, Platteville, Salisbury. Okay, Salisbury, Castleton, probably not. Platteville, Eau Claire, probably not. But Whitewater.
Yep.
Hope Olivet. I mean, stranger things have happened, I guess, but I wouldn't put my money there. St. John, St. Olaf, I would probably not put my money there either. Nope. Central and Co gets in. Central gets out. So that is a swap game like Wabash and DePaul, probably. Trinity, Maryville. Well, Trinity would fall and stay in, I believe. I'm just going to reconfirm that because we've seen this change a little bit over the last
pretty high up
few days. Yeah.
My guess
well,
is
and also is Maryville.
Like the 25-ish range, maybe.
Trinity would be the 11th Pool C at number 30.
Okay.
Or the number 30 team in the rankings, yeah. 65.43, they'd be a full 0.7 points above, so it is unlikely they would fall out in any circumstance unless all of their out-of-conference teams that they played lost. Which, okay, wait a minute, let's play it around with it. Trinity loses, Texas Lutheran loses, right? Because they played Texas Lutheran to start the season. Mm-hmm. Who else did they play out of conference? They flew, right? They flew to Pacific, California. Was it? Or where was it?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they played up in, I want to say it was like Pac-Lu or one of those teams. I think it was Pac-Lu, yeah, in week 3. They also played Belhaven.
Yeah, okay, so Belhaven, Pac Lutheran.
And Belhaven could lose their last game, too.
Belhaven loses. So, okay, I just made all 3 of Trinity's competitors lose out of conference. And if that happens, Trinity's out. So if Trinity loses and all their out-of-conference teams lose, they could be out as a result of it. Wow. The team that would get in is Coast Guard in that situation with nothing else changing. And it's by 0.01 points is what the difference would be. That's crazy small. Wow. So it tells you just how little things can change anything on this whole thing. But again, that's what we're dealing with here with NPI. This is, again, the baseline we're providing you, which is the projection of if everybody wins in Week 11 that NPI suggests should win, what the results of NPI will be. Now, here's what we're going to do on Saturday. After I'm done with the Union game especially, I'm going to literally be hot updating, and we're going to create another tool for you to actually do your own calculations, and I'm going to feed or have automatically fed final scores into the system as the day goes along after I verify them, because we had some issues with that when we're posting live scores to our Discord server. So literally every 5 minutes we get an update and we post the changes and the statuses of games, and we got some interesting stuff happening with that, but that doesn't really affect much for you. Yeah. This would if the information is wrong. So I'm going to verify each final before it gets posted into our system, and you will, as those games go final, be able to do the calculation. We're going to make sure the calculator is running identically to the one we use every Sunday to do the computations for you. And you're going to be able to see the current status officially using further projections or not. It's up to you, and we'll give you that option as well. So you're going to have all day long Saturday the ability to follow along and see what your team or teams look like with and without the games that haven't gone final, basically. So we'll get that up and running. Hopefully the numbers match correctly. Obviously, we stress this is all beta testing for us this year because it's just new. Logan doesn't even have this on his site, I don't believe. So, it tells you how unusual this is. And we've been told by folks, if this works, they're going to want to see this for other sports in the NCAA that are using NPI like volleyball, etc. Would love to have a tool like this, is what I'm being told. So, we'll see what we can do. We're not charging people for this. Cool. We're not going to make that happen. Saturday, we're going to do what we can to help you throughout the day. Now, here's the biggest problem on Saturday. The last game gets played at 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Special thanks to the
Which means
SCAC.
It'll probably end around 11:30 or midnight, right?
Correct. So you cannot validate the final NPI numbers until probably around midnight, Sunday morning, Saturday night. Even the SCIAC got it right and made their games all 4 o'clock Eastern time. I mean, this is just crazy to me that the SCAC couldn't put one of those games on Friday night and the other two on Saturday so they wouldn't have to do this. This is just strange to play it out this way. And look, if you have a differential of like 0.01 between two teams that are close enough to those teams playing, like Texas Lutheran and McMurray, and that what we just saw with Trinity, or what I just explained happened with Trinity, that could influence who the last team is. That game could have an effect. If Maryville beats Trinity, for instance, then that game could matter a lot. So, we're going to have to see how this all plays out. It could be a long night Saturday. We'll see. But, JB, we're going to do what we can to provide you not a model, not predictions, but actual hard tools to see what's going on and how it all works, because I think that's the biggest thing too. People just have no idea how this works. I get it. AI doesn't understand how it works. If AI can't tell you how it works, and you have to walk it through it for like hours upon hours, literally a day and almost a half it took to just get the original calculator built. Yeah. People do this? Why would anybody do this? So, why would you have a tie do that? I mean, really, it's crazy.
It's so stupid.
So, JB, we will have a lot more Friday without you, but we'll talk to one of the Pool C potentials, possibly as a co-host. Just throwing that out there for you. Wrap up Week 10 for us, and final thoughts on it as we transition to the ultimate week in the regular season.
Yeah, well, I think once again, whether it's predictions, models, whatever, I mean, at the end of the day, any given Saturday, right? I mean, we saw lots of games that went in totally different directions than we thought. So where there's a will, there's a way. Some teams rise to the occasion and some kind of crash and burn when the heat is on. So we'll see how it plays out. There's some really great rivalry games in Week 11. There will be, like you said, I think 8 conference championships up for grabs, and then we'll have to wait and see in the early hours of Sunday whether or not this projected scenario, 40 teams, pans out, or if there are some new teams that work their way in here, if certain people rise and fall depending on how they do. And then Sunday, I think at 5:30, once the bracket is released, we'll go live on Facebook like we normally do and kind of break down the matchups, sort of see what the NCAA did. We'll talk to some people that got in. We'll talk to some people who maybe got left out. And then Monday, we'll do the ECAC bowl bid selection show like we've been doing for the last couple of years, and you kind of take it from there.
One thing I'm going to call out that we have not seen this season, JB, a big upset. Honestly, there have not been what I would call a quantity of big upsets that we are used to. Number 1, not lost. Number 2, not lost. Number 3, not lost. Number 4, Susquehanna, lost to number 3. Number 5, Hardin Simmons, losing eventually here to UMHB. That might be the biggest upset, and that's just strange to call that an upset. We didn't see any lopsided upsets, and you can see it right here that we just didn't see it happen this year. And so are we due? Are we due finally for that big upset at the wrong time for the teams that might be affected by it, or maybe the right time for the teams that need it to happen ultimately? We will find out on Saturday. A couple of games on Friday night as well. NJAC's got a couple Friday night specials to end the season, so I'll look out for that. Salisbury Castleton being one of them. Salisbury could probably lay claim, if they win, to a Pool C without any hesitation after Friday night. So we may be able to award a Pool C before even Saturday morning goes, unofficially. Thanks for joining us. We have a long week ahead of us, folks. We're with you. We're here for you. Come on Discord with us. Watch our materials. Go on Twitter. You got lots of options, but we'll see you nonetheless throughout the week. Thank you.